Hey guys, M2 Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the Retro Spider-Man wave of 2025. Here we have the Spider-Man Unlimited figure. I think either the most in-demand figure from the wave, or the second most, or potentially the third most, depending on where you're going to fall on that, whether it's Agent Venom, Spider-Man Unlimited, or Chameleon. Maybe Spider-Boy, maybe Electro, maybe Kane, but I have a feeling it's going to be either Agent Venom, Spider-Man Unlimited, and or Chameleon. So here we have Spider-Man Unlimited. First of the two figures that I found in the wave. This is actually the first one I found on the pegs. I got this, and then Agent Venom, the Target worker, ended up bringing a case of Agent Venom out shortly after that. But Spider-Man Unlimited and Agent Venom hitting Target stores along with basically the whole wave. I also got Kane and Electro later in the evening, just before store closing. I don't have Spider-Boy, I don't have Chameleon. Hopefully those show up soon. Shartimus Prime went out and found Spider-Boy earlier today, so should be pretty close to hitting my area. Maybe even tomorrow. Hopefully Chameleon too. We shall see. But we have Spider-Man Unlimited here. I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I haven't watched this show at all. Not ever seen a single episode. Nothing. Do I remember seeing commercials and stuff about it? Yeah. But again, haven't seen it. Is this the one where he's voiced by Neil Patrick Harris? Or am I crazy and that's not even true that he ever voiced Peter Parker? I'm going to have to look that up. I have no idea. Never saw it. But it's an interesting, cool looking Spider-Man figure. Potentially. It looked like we had a lot of new stuff going on with this figure, so it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. But then it's like, oh, the legs aren't really new. The reds, they're just painted. Could they have sculpted some stuff? I don't know. Maybe this is fine. We shall see. Looks cool, though. It doesn't have any cell shading, which kind of, I think, throws off people, because when you look at the show, there's a lot of cell shading. You look at the artwork, it's a lot of cell shading. It looks like he's got a lot of black. There might be some blue, but it's really blue. Because of the cell shading, it looks black. One of those weird kind of things, probably. But here we got it. It says nanotech suit. So that's interesting. I didn't know that about a suit. But here we have the retro Spider-Man card back, the blister pack card for the throwback to the Toy Biz Spider-Man the Animated Series look, which I love. These are the ones that I double up on, not that new style card like the Agent Venom was. I'll double up on these. Looking at the back of the card, we get the cross-sell, so we see all the figures from the wave. Spider-Man Unlimited, Agent Venom, Spider-Boy, Electro, Kane, and Chameleon. The bio here reads, Peter Parker suits up to battle against Carnage and other unearthly enemies as Spider-Man Unlimited. I don't know. There we go. Let's get into it. Let's go rip this thing open and get Spider-Man out of the package. Okay, so here is the Spider-Man Unlimited figure out of the package, and my mistake, he was not voiced by Neil Patrick Harris. He was voiced by somebody else. Neil Patrick Harris did the new Spider-Man. I don't know. Like, I didn't want Spider-Man the Animated Series. That was my Spider-Man. That's the one I watched. I do remember that Neil Patrick Harris one coming out. I honestly don't remember this Spider-Man Unlimited one having come out. Like, I don't remember it whatsoever, like, at all. I don't know how I missed it. I'm not really sure. I think when I looked it up, 1999 to 2005, this thing was on for 6 years, and I had no idea. Although at the time when it came out was when I had just entered high school, so I guess maybe that's why I was not aware. I don't know. I mean, I guess. I don't really know. But I've never once seen an episode. I literally just YouTubed the intro, and I didn't care for it, if I'm being honest. Weird music, weird character designs, and all things like that. The suit itself is pretty cool. There's some nanotech to it and whatnot. He did have the standard red and blue suit in there, it seemed like, but he had yellow lenses, yellow eyes, and I think this suit kind of should have that too, but he does not have yellow. But figure-wise, it doesn't look so bad. There's one thing that is a nitpick, super nitpick, that I don't care for, but I can understand why it's that way, and I don't know how else they could have done it. So we'll talk about it. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at Spider-Man Unlimited's accessories. I already swapped one out, but out of the package, he's got fists on the hands, and then we get the wall-crawling hands. So we got the good hands for Spider-Man. Then we also get some whip hands. Nothing else going on there. He does have this web cape there, and it has this like whitish, frosted, cloudy look to it, and I guess that's pretty good. A little web cape. There's not a huge amount of flexibility in it. It is fairly soft, but you can't like bow it out and kind of shape it out or anything like that. So it looks okay. But let's go ahead and adjust, and let's take a closer look at Spider-Man Unlimited. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the Spider-Man Unlimited. I got this blue light on here to kind of bring out like the cell shading nostalgia look for it. I'm just kidding. I did that for a picture and then I forgot to turn it off. So let me get that out of the way. But here, the Spider-Man Unlimited figure. And here's my criticism of the figure. And it's not even that bad. Like, I think some people probably will absolutely hate this. But I don't think it's terrible. The red line along the side of the arms is paint. There's no sculpt in there. The shoulders, that is sculpted. The butterfly joints, that's sculpted. The torso, that's sculpted. But the bicep into the forearm is not sculpted. That is not a big deal to me. This spider thing along his wrists, here, they're pretty soft, so these probably could get warped around a little bit. They're just free floating, so they'll move around and everything. And I guess I was thinking, maybe they should have glued that down, or maybe it should have been part of the sculpt. But then if you sculpt that and then you put the hand, you have to have the back of the spider, the upper half of the spider on the hand. Then you turn the hand, it's going to look weird. But if you turn the hand, you could turn the spider along with it. And so it kind of keeps it together, so you wouldn't really be able to glue it down. So I guess it's just a weird thing. It's that super nitpicky. I don't know. Honestly, I don't have a solution of what they could have done better. So, there's that. Maybe this is the best solution, I guess. It seems a little weird, and it just seems, super thin and kind of flimsy on there. Not terrible. Now, the legs, the red on the inside, that's not sculpted. There's no sculpted lines or anything like that. I feel that would always be better. I don't hate that it's not there. Just, wanted to point that out to you guys. These red sections here on the back of the legs, those are sculpted though. So that is good there. The problem is the reds don't exactly match. And I think that's just because, you're painting over the dark blue. Even though they did it here, they could do a thicker coat of paint or additional applications. Whereas these little stripe pieces probably only got a singular layer. But other than that, we have that there. The head sculpt, the mask, it looks a little funky to me. It got some bug eyes lenses. I'm not the biggest fan of them. And I think they should be a little bit more yellow. But otherwise, hey, it's Spider-Man Unlimited. So if you watch the show, if you love the show, maybe this is something that you'll be happy with. But you guys will have to let me know that down in the comments below. But let's go ahead and jump right on into the articulation. Okay, so articulation for Spider-Man. Let's go ahead and check it out. His head is on a disc hinge, so he can look up all the way, which is fantastic. He can look down all the way, which is good. You get a full rotation in there. Do you get some pivot? Not really. And I do want to comment on the lenses. I said, they think they should be yellow. Not like super yellow, like a bright yellow or anything, but a little bit of a yellowish tint. And I want to say they kind of did it. It's not quite white, but not quite yellowish tint enough, in my opinion, but also coming from somebody that didn't watch the show and just was looking at images and quick YouTube videos. It looks like the red and blue suit, the regular, Spider-Man suit when he had that in the show, definitely a brighter yellow, but when he went to this, is soft yellow, but still yellow nonetheless. But anyway, moving on. The arms, the shoulders, you can get the shoulders to go straight on out, which is good. So even though you have those sculpted lines in there, it can move around no problem. You get a full rotation in there. You got the butterfly joint in there. And so to get the shoulder to go back, you can actually go back far, but the cape would kind of get in the way. So you kind of have to work around that. And you could see where the sculpt of that red line goes. It ends there. And then coming forward on the butterfly joint, you could see we can get some crossbody going there. So that is good. Good stuff going on there. Upper bicep swivel in there. Double jointed pinless elbow gives you that much bend there at the elbow, which is quite nice. Wrist swivel, and they do hinge. Standard horizontal hinge on the wall crawling hands, the fist hands, and the whip hands. There, we got the ab crunch on him, so you can crunch forward that much there, so not too bad. Backwards crunch, you can crunch back that much there. The web cape does get in the way a little bit, but you can see we get the sculpted spider legs in there that go back far. So where it's not breaking up the sculpt or anything like that. So that is good. Same thing on the back of the figure. Waist swivel in there. Legs go out that far apart there, which is good. You can kick forward that far there. The leg goes back slightly. You got upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinless knee gives you that much bend at the knee. You do have that calf swivel in there, which is good. Foot hinges all the way down. You get some hinge up. Ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So there we go. I forgot earlier to show you the back of the figure and what that looks like with the sculpt work. And so that looks pretty good there. So that is the articulation for Spider-Man. So I have no complaints there. You know, if we get the super articulated body for every Spider-Man, would be ideal. Hasbro will say capacity issues, all this and that, and I don't know how all that works on the manufacturing side. It would be nice, but we do have some new tooling in here. So the lower legs and then the upper torso, the entire torso and shoulders are completely new. And in the design of it, a diaphragm cut probably would have been ugly to do. But still always better. And maybe one day we'll see Marvel Legends move to a ball joint waist. But, we're not there yet. For what we have here, it does move around pretty good. So I want to do a comparison. I always do this, right? The side-by-side figures of all the ones from the wave. So Agent Venom's the only other one that I've opened up so far. But I wanted to show you guys this because I didn't do this in the previous video because you guys know I don't like head swaps. Or if you've been around the channel, you've seen me, you know I don't like head swaps, but I try to do them when I remember. I just typically don't ever think of them and don't remember. The Agent Venom one, that one makes sense. It's a good one. I didn't do it in my review, but here we do it. If you follow me on Instagram, you would see my reel potentially. So I wanted to show you guys here in this video. I swapped the heads around, and yes, you can get the old Agent Venom head onto the Walgreens one onto the new one, and it looks okay. I don't think it looks the best. It sits a little bit higher and it's a little bit more narrow, but if it's something that you like, it's something that you can do. So just heads up on that. If you want to put the new one on the Walgreens one, it sits very low on that head, so heads up on that. So let's go ahead and put this together the right way and we get our Agent Venom and our Spider-Man Unlimited together, because these are wave mates. They are both in the wave, which you can get and you can pre-order through Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon. Some of them might be sold out at those places. Like Agent Venom was sold out on like Amazon and Entertainment Earth, but Big Bad Toy Store still has pre-orders available, and they're going to be processing some pre-orders. Not sure if they're going to be able to get to them all, or if some of those pre-orders are going to be a second batch, or what the story is going on there. Okay, so here we're going to take a look at some comparisons with other Spider-Man figures. So first up is the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man there. You can see we got our animated Spider-Man Unlimited with our comic Spider-Man there. And I want to jump over into some other animated Spider-Man. So here we go with Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. This was that Hasbro Pulse exclusive 3-pack there. So that is cool. We're going to jump way forward into Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with the Peter Parker, what was the middle initial of, was it Peter J, Peter B, Peter A, Peter, it was probably just Peter Parker. I don't remember. Peter B was, the other, the scruffy one that came over into Miles's. This is the 1610 Peter Parker with the blonde hair. I don't know if he had a middle initial. I don't remember. But we go in animated for animated. Yes, it's CGI animated, not quite. And then, of course, Spider-Man Unlimited did make a cameo appearance in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in Spider Society. I probably should have brought out Miles Morales, but unfortunately I did not. But there's that Peter Parker there. And then we're going to take a look at my favorite, the Spider-Man, the animated series Spider-Man there. This was the Walmart exclusive retro card back cell shaded Spider-Man there. So we have our different animated Spider-Man. So as good as the Spider-Man Unlimited one is, my bias will go to this one being my favorite just because of what it represents, that Spider-Man, the animated series. But if your show was Spider-Man Unlimited, I'm sure he's probably your go-to Spider-Man. Okay, so just posing it around a little bit. Not that I do that too often, but I wanted to just kind of show something. So I'm sure he kind of dives out. But the way you could do the butterfly joints, you can kind of wedge in that web cape there and can kind of make it look cool like it's flaring out. So that is actually a pretty fun thing. Oh, and I do want to talk about this. So swapping out the hands, like I'm scared I'm going to also like break this spider thing on the wrist. So I do want to be like mindful and careful of that. But ooh, I just yanked it off. It can't, that's obviously an easy thing, but I'm scared that one day I'm going to pull too much force and like yank these little spider legs off or something. And that would really suck to do. So just, keep that in mind. And let's see if I could get some kind of thwip pose going with Spider-Man Unlimited. Okay, so here we have this. Now, it's not anything special, but I'm kind of recreating the pose that you see on a poster of Spider-Man Unlimited. If only I could get the web cape to kind of hold itself up a little bit there. But there can be a whole lot of fun with this. While I'm not used to the design, it's not, to me, it's not kind of the usual. The red and blue suit or the symbiote suit are always going to be my go-to favorites. It's an interesting design for sure. I think cell shading this up would actually look pretty good, and I don't really like cell shading typically, but when all you see of this particular suit design is covered in cell shading, why not give it a shot? And maybe they'll do a second release somewhere down the line if there's an anniversary or something for the show, or they do something weird like that. I can see that happening, but likely going to be a one-off. But you guys let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. Okay, so trying to play around with some lighting. This is probably a little bit more of how he looks like in the animated show. It's very dark. It looks like a lot of it probably ends up taking place at night. And so the suit, really looks black as opposed to this dark blue. But, cell shading, again, probably could have fixed that. Would have looked good. It's not that it looks bad. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. That is my review of the Spider-Man Unlimited figure. Definitely a good one. It's just I have no connection to this particular version of Spider-Man, unfortunately. You guys let me know if you guys watched the show. Was it any good? Should I watch a few episodes? Is there anything in particular that really stood out as being good? Maybe I'll give it a shot. Hopefully it's on Disney Plus, or I can kind of take a look if there's some way to watch it. But you guys let me know down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.